Hey everybody, what's up? Nicole and Rob here making my vlog for the week, and I just want to fill everybody in on everything that's been happening over here. So I guess we'll wait for a couple people to jump on. Somebody just jumped on.
What time is it there?
It's 5 hours before here, so it's about 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
Oh, okay.
So really just kind of want to update everybody on, like I said, everything that's happening over here and talk about all the good, bad, and the ugly. So the reason that I haven't posted more pics, more videos like I did on the Romania trip, in all honesty, is because it's been a slow start. So we got over here, I guess it's been just a little over 2 weeks now, and we had originally planned to do, hey Laura, how are you?
Hey Laura.
We had originally planned to do, or at least wanted to do, up to 6 days a week. I wanted to do events, literally where I would speak. Ideally, I would speak during the day at colleges and high schools, and at night, we would be speaking in churches. That was the plan, so up to like 12 events a week. And we scaled it down before. We were gonna do like 4 or 5 events a week, which I was like, okay, that's fine, that's still good. And we had several events on the calendar, but when we got over here, some of the events started to cancel. We realized they weren't as solid as we thought they were. So basically now we've been here for 2 weeks and I think a day, and we've only done 2 events since we've been here. The last event was on Sunday, and what kind of, to top it off, our tour manager had a death, an unexpected death in her family, and she had to leave London and go be with her family on Sunday night, which left us in London with a stranger and basically sleeping in someone's apartment that we didn't know. I was on an air mattress, and Nicole was in a spare bedroom, and we didn't really have any idea where we were going to eat, any transportation, and it just was like, okay, this is not what we thought it was going to be.
We had just met them.
Yeah, so first off, I want to give a props to Sarah Lee, our tour manager. She did an amazing job. She really worked her butt off, lining everything up, leading up to the us coming here, and sacrificed her own time, her money, just put her heart into it, and I do want to give her props because she really gave her all. But
she really believes in this message.
Yeah, she believes in it. But at the end of the day, hey Bonnie, how are you? Who else is on here? Tony Scotto, what's up?
And there's Melissa,
Noelle. Natalie, or Noelle. So want to give her props. But at the end of the day, it was like, Sunday night, I remember thinking like I wanted to quit. I was considering coming home, but honestly, I was thinking about quitting everything because I'm like, this is just too hard.
Yeah.
Like I've been.
Wait, you were gonna quit everything?
Well, not everything. I mean, of course, that was how I felt in the moment. I'm sure part of it was just I was tired, but like we worked hard to get here.
Yeah.
Felt like there was a lot of confirmation, like prayed through it, and God sent us plenty of signs that this is where He wanted us, and then everything on some level kind of started to fall apart, where we're sleeping at a stranger's house with no food in a foreign country, not a whole lot of money in our budget, and
not a whole lot planned on the schedule,
and no events for the week on the calendar. So we're like, well, why are we even here? Why did we leave all the responsibilities in the States if there's nothing? I literally turned down events in Romania actually because I wanted to be here in the UK because I thought there was going to be 4 or 5 events a week, and I went to bed that night. Of course, just a little tip there: if you're ever feeling down and depressed, go to bed, hit the reset button, get some rest. But I went to bed and I woke up the next day, and I really during my quiet time, because of course I prayed a lot about it. I just felt like God said, "Do you trust me?" It was like, yeah, and kind of like talked to Nicole, and we both felt like it didn't feel right to go back. It didn't feel right to go back to the States. So we're like, okay, well,
we were willing to go back.
Yeah, we were willing to go back. We said, let's
look at all the
let's not
options.
remove that from the table. Let's keep that open. If that's what God, if that's what we feel is right to do, I won't be afraid to go back and just say, hey, we thought it was going to be a 12-week tour, and it's not.
We even talked about going to Romania and picking up some of the events that we had decided not to do.
So we found, for a couple days, we worked in coffee shops where they had Wi-Fi, and we went through the email, the bookings at Robbie Kowalski, which I actually had never been in. Sarah was handling that, and we went through and we just started following up on people that had messaged us, and slowly just really started to put everything back together. So now we're at a point where we have...
That was a turning point.
Yeah, that was...
It really was.
That was a turning point for us. But now we're at a point where we know where we're staying for the next 2 weeks. We're not, sleeping on an air mattress at somebody else's place. We actually were able to go onto Airbnb and find an apartment. And then we have an event at a place called Ashburnham, which is like a Christian retreat center where we'll be a couple nights, which is amazing. So
thanks, Adelina.
Yeah, so just in the last couple days we were able to get a vehicle, which was great.
Yes,
because
we
were taking a bus around in the rain, dragging our suitcases or whatever. And I guess really the point of the vlog is I just wanted to be transparent, because I was like, people see pictures and they see it looks a little glamorous, I guess, right? But when you're here, you're like, it's not that glamorous. It hasn't been. And I'm like, I want to pull the curtain back and tell people, this is what's really going on. So that, number one, they can pray for us if they want to. And then they can, maybe somebody will see this vlog and they'll say, hey, I know such and such in London that you should meet, or whatever. So that was kind of the purpose of the vlog, and really catching everybody up on everything. So we want to give a shout out to Dan Martinez. He's somebody back in Houston who's really helping out with some of the stuff that's important to us. We actually went through and found probably at least about 25 to 30 emails that people had sent in that want me, Nicole and I, to come to their city and speak. So we're going to follow up on all those leads. They're actually not just from the UK. This is literally from like Germany, France.
Well, Spain we talked about today.
Canada, a lot of the states in the U.S. So we're going to follow up with them. And really, I think, looking at it all, because of course I'm like, when things don't work out the way that you thought they were, you start questioning. Okay, well, what is the plan here? What is God's purpose in this? And a tour was never on my radar. It was never anything an idea that I had. People would mention to me before, like, why don't you go around and speak at schools and churches? I was like, I would, but I didn't feel like God was sending me, I guess, right? So now we're on a tour.
Right.
It didn't start. It didn't start the way that I thought, or maybe that I would have planned it, or would have wanted it to start, I guess, in an ideal world. But it started, and now we're here and we're on it, and God continues to show up. Like, literally, we have got events now at Ashburnham. We got a book at something called an author's evening at a bookstore.
I'm really excited about that.
Yeah, so Friday the 20th, which is, I guess, about 2 weeks away, we're going to be speaking at a bookstore that's going to be selling the books, and there's going to be a lot of singles there. But what was interesting is we talked to the bookstore owner today, and he said, there's a church there that's going through some kind of split, and he said there's a lot of hurt people. There's like 400 cases of abuse in this church. And I was like, well, what kind of abuse? He was like, well, pretty much every kind of abuse you can imagine.
Right.
And he said something about the diocese, which means, I guess, it's a Catholic church, and he wanted us to come in and try to help kind of heal these hurt. And I'm like, said to Nicole, I'm like, that doesn't make sense. Like, why would he think of... it makes more sense for her to do it because she's got experience working in a church. But he doesn't know her. It doesn't really make sense for him to invite me. But at the same time, I'm thinking, well, maybe there's something that God knows that I don't. So we're kind of like thinking, all right, well, let's keep that open as an option to go in, and if we're something that we can do to help, I don't know.
And he was really nice about it. He said, since you're coming to speak on Friday, would you be willing to be here on Thursday to do this? And then he even said something about a picnic, like a barbecue. And
they're going to do a barbecue before the event and get people together for like a social, which again seems a lot like a City Fam, or at least a little bit more like what City Fam does with the social piece. So so there's a lot of good stuff starting to happen. But again, it was touch and go there for a few days, to the point where especially honestly, I was looking at Nicole and I'm thinking, I don't know how she's still here. Like, if she was to quit, that would devastate me, to be honest. And she's walked away from literally her sons, family, a house full of tenants, a career in mortgage banking, believing that this is what God wanted to do with her, and she's here grinding with me, this is the definition of walking by faith. Because honestly, like
moment by moment,
like,
not day by day,
not
like,
not by sight, because we're like looking around like, okay, are we really supposed to be here? Because this doesn't look like what we signed up for.
right.
But you know, like some of the verses that we kind of been meditating on was like, you know, for the one of the verses just comes to mind is like, you know, Jesus, it says, for the glory set before him, he endured the cross. And I think about like, you know, that there's got to be something good ahead, that we're just being tested right now, and we have to endure this little bit in order to get to that better thing. And yeah,
so one of the verses for me, you had spoken at that event on Sunday night with Pastor Sunny, and then it just so happened that Pastor Sunny called and said, hey, I'd love to like have lunch with you guys. And so we decided that instead of just making some of these decisions on our own, we'd seek some wise counsel, find out, like he's here, he's part of what we've done so far. And he brought up, I don't know if you were sitting there actually, he brought up the exact verse that I felt was confirmation for me to come on this tour, which is the chapter of Luke 10, talking about how God sends them out and goes ahead of them and sends them out to go do this. And then he says, go.
Go, with the exclamation point.
Yes.
So yeah, shout out to Pastor Sonny at the Word Christian Center.
Yeah.
First off, thank you for the hospitality. Thanks for giving me the opportunity to come in. We actually sold 350 pounds, because they don't use dollars over here. We sold 350 pounds in books, which is amazing because it was a very small event, probably about maybe 10 or 12 people. Mm-hmm. But we sold a bunch of books. He, you know, helped us hustle them, and we've actually been using that money to kind of just survive, live, you know, get a place, get a rental car, eat. And shout out to Jessica Clancy. She actually made a donation to the tour. Thank you for doing that. Thank you for believing in what we're doing. And yeah, so what else? What's on the radar now is we have the event next Sunday, or I'm sorry, this Sunday through Tuesday. We'll be at Ashburnham. We leave there, we go to Essex, we stay at a monastery for 4 nights. And then we go to, we do the bookstore event. Well, actually, do we have I think we may have a little bit of a gap there. Anyway, whatever.
2 days.
Yeah, like a 2-day gap in places to stay. But the plan is right now is to continue to work hard, fill as many dates as possible, because we have a lot of open dates. We actually had 2 meetings today. Pastor Reg from a church over here, and Simon Gibbs, who was with Hillsong, not with Hillsong anymore, but really cool guy, and he's actually he's getting his master's in theology, and he's writing his thesis. His thesis is on loneliness, which is amazing because you all know I talk about loneliness all the time. So I pulled up my videos and I showed him all the videos on YouTube that I made about loneliness, and he was like blown away. We definitely feel like it was a divine appointment. Right,
and we were really talking the same language because he really wanted to connect with the Prime Minister of Loneliness?
The Minister of Loneliness
yeah. Here in London. And then we had met at the very first event that Rob spoke at. We met the head of the Marriage Coalition for Parliament, and I just feel like some of these connections are like that's incredible. Like,
yeah.
Anyway. So
yeah, that's it. Keeping y'all up to date on everything that's going on. Again, prayers are appreciated.
We didn't tell him about some of the terrible stuff.
Like what? Oh my gosh.
Like.
Yeah.
Like trying to figure out ways to wash your face in the morning.
Yeah.
Like,
so this is the stuff that people don't see, and I was like, let's just tell them about everything. So yeah, like last night, she's like washed her face with a sock.
I took my sock off, literally. My sock.
Yeah.
Washed it out in the hot water so I could use it as a wash rag to like wash my face, so I could clean my face. Like those are the moments that like you don't get to see. I mean, I know that sounds gross, but, you know.
So you know that she believes in this. There's no
my
doubt.
God. I'm sure they know I believe in this.
Well, I mean, maybe they don't know you believe at that level.
Or maybe they don't think I would be that gross.
Right. Well, I don't think it's that gross, but that committed. So, anyway.
We're in this.
Yeah.
And we believe that God is all over it. Just the shift and what has happened in the last 2 days.
Yeah.
It's It has to be God. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, the things that started to fall into place, which is just kind of like, for, you know, a message for anybody out there is to stick with it. You know, if you know that God, or you just, even if you're not a believer, let's just say something that you feel like you're supposed to do and you have a deep sense of peace about it, and things don't add up in the natural, like you're not seeing evidence, but you feel like this is where you're supposed to be, you got to keep riding. You got to ride it out. And that's kind of the way both of us felt. It's like, definitely got confirmations that we're supposed to be here. We both felt right. Neither one of us felt right about getting on a plane. So we're like, okay, we're just going to stay here and trust, you know, and literally just in like the last 24 to 36 hours, everything is starting to fall into place. So we'll keep you guys posted. Definitely appreciate y'all, you know, thinking about us and praying for us.
I love the messages.
Yeah, we've actually gotten lots of messages from people back home. Somebody's coming here, what day? Sunday?
She's gonna be here Sunday.
Sunday
from Vegas.
From Vegas. Someone we've never met. Somebody that, you know, follows me online. She's coming here to meet with us and to help out in whatever way she can. So we just want to maximize our time. You know, the goal is to really speak as much as possible. The goal isn't really to speak. The goal is to start as many groups as possible. Our heart is, we want to get the message out, the message of purity, but we really want to get people into small groups, because the small groups is what gives them the community that they need in order to make it really through that period of waiting, or just becoming the best version of themselves.
I think that's the shout out too, is the shout out to the Baltimore community, the Houston community,
oh my gosh,
and all of the communities that are starting to form right now. You guys, Houston, I love y'all.
Yeah, I think that too is like something that an unforeseen benefit since we got here, because what's happened since she left Houston and I left Baltimore is we've seen a lot of people now rise up. Yeah. They've stepped up to the plate as leaders. Paul Jenkins, Dan Martinez, Kim Spriggs, Rich Geit, yes. Lots of other people, too many to name. And I don't know that if we were still around that would have happened, because I know personally I've literally gave everything that I could possibly give to City Fam, specifically City Fam Baltimore, and I can only get it as far as it's gotten. And to be honest,
she's killing it, by the way, without you.
Kim Spriggs is killing it. Thank you. I'm so grateful. But I've only was able to get it so far, and now I believe God took me away over here to the UK, and that's allowed other people to kind of rise up and take ownership and do the things that I couldn't do. So that was actually a kind of like a hidden blessing, you know, blessing in disguise. But
well, and just watching like some of the ways that God went ahead of us in that, we put in place these regional directors. There's 4 of them actually. We have Cammie, who's in Seattle. We have Angel, who's in Ohio. Dan is our international, Dan Martinez, who we've mentioned a couple of times, and then we have Kim Spriggs. And we didn't really, we knew we needed to go ahead and do that. We didn't really know why. It just felt right to go ahead and get everything in order. But then we started going through those emails, and it was immediate, like, okay, it's time to send this person here and this person here. And it's exciting. Yeah. And there's people everywhere who are wanting what we have. Yeah.
And what else is, I mean, honestly, what else is exciting is it's strangely exciting to not know. Like before we had an agenda set. We had all these events planned out. We were going to be staying at these Christian guest houses. You know, obviously the food and everything was mapped out. Now there's no plan, like, or at least there wasn't. So, but it's actually kind of exciting because you are walking by faith, and you know, just kind of, okay, well, let's see what God does next kind of thing. But I guess if I could leave anybody with anything is I just want you all to know how committed I am to this and how committed Nicole is, because we literally will, you know, she's, like I said, she's left house and home and family and everything. Her grandfather died while she was here, and she couldn't be with her family for that. You know, her sons are moving, and anyway, we're just sold out to the vision, and it's exciting, but at the same time it's a little like, there can be times where it's really frustrating, where you're just like, what the F, God, like for real, really like hard. this is too hard, because it's almost like he pushes you right to the brink of I guess he knows how much you'll take, you know, how much you'll literally take before you quit. And he pushes you to that edge sometimes, it feels like. But there's verses in the Word that says suffering produces perseverance. And perseverance produces character, and character hope. So if you look at it like, God, you know, there's purpose in the suffering. And I definitely know that I've developed perseverance because, I mean, how can you not when you're going through the things that we are? Like, this isn't glamorous at all. Like, you're trying to catch buses, you're
sopping wet,
hauling your luggage through the rain, and just trying to figure out where you're going to sleep that night. Like, literally, that's where we've had a few nights like that. But
not sure when you're going to eat next.
Yeah. But anyway, not asking y'all to feel sorry for us at all. Just kind of keeping it real.
No, it's exciting to live like by faith each moment.
Yeah.
With what God is doing.
Yeah, I think too many people just like to, you know, post the highlights, you know, just try to impress people. And I like to post the pictures, the good pictures of all the good stuff too. But at the same time, I want to.
Well, some of it is really that good.
Yeah, no doubt.
There have been some really incredible, beautiful places and moments.
Yeah. So we'll keep you guys posted as things develop. But right now we have 2 definite events in the next 2 weeks. We have places to stay for the next 2 weeks, which is great. We have a car. And we're going to Romania at the end of April for at least 2 weeks to close out the tour, which I know is going to be great. Adelina, you know, she's already got all the relationships and everything over there, so we'll probably be speaking in front of big crowds. We'll even do some stuff at the bookstore because my book is actually on bookstore shelves in Romania, which is pretty cool because that's the only place it's on bookstore shelves. So, and I'll get my tattoo finished, which I've been walking around with half of Jesus' face on my arm for, I don't know, 4 months. So anyway, that's it. Appreciate y'all. Love you guys.
I love you too.
See you.